Let's dive into a gut-busting story starring the likes of Stephen Chow, Charlie Chaplin, and Jim Carrey, with laughs abound. Subtitle: A man accidentally discovers a train full of ham and devours over a dozen cans as if he were a ravenous wolf. He almost bites the dust, and today we're talking about the hilariously absurd comedy. Subtitles: Our protagonist is a person of integrity, and his pairing with the bumbling clown Nelson creates a delightful contrast that adds a comedic charm. The company is seeking a new president, and naive Nelson thinks he has won the CEO contest, bragging non-stop. He's busy schmoozing his boss on the golf course, convinced the new CEO gig is his destiny. But then the boss makes a shocking announcement. See, his rival, Daley, turns out to be the new president. Now that's a real facepalm moment. Nelson can't help but ask the boss, I've been waiting on you hand and foot, why not me? Subtitles: To add insult to injury, the boss even claims that Daley is also going to be his future son-in-law, which makes him absolutely furious. He throws a tantrum, cursing like a sailor, but everyone knows Nelson's just a friendly little hamster, so nobody pays him any. The more he thinks, the sadder he gets, until he's inadvertently crying on the intercom like a soap opera star. Subtitles: His colleagues heard it, came in and reminded him, hey, everyone can hear you, you know. Subtitles: Nelson decides to confront his boss and has a lot to say, only to find that the boss has already been stabbed in the back. In a panic, he tries to pull out the knife, hoping for a miracle revival. Spoiler alert, he looks more like the killer. Nelson freaks out seeing blood on his hands, thinking, this looks bad. Better not touch anything. But he's too squeamish, and ends up with blood on his shirt. See, it's a comedy of errors. Nelson decides to get help, but is so anxious he can hardly speak, resorting to charades. C and his colleagues are terrified. Meanwhile, the actual killer had already been hiding in the corner, overhearing his commotion and taking the opportunity to escape through the ventilation duct. Realizing he's the prime suspect, Nelson makes a run for it. Subtitles: In the elevator, he is standing with his back facing a colleague when an elderly man casually reminds him, hey, you've dropped your knife. Subtitles: He fakes a nosebleed secretly, causing widespread panic. Then he runs smack into the killer, who's just as baffled as he is. See, talk about awkward. He wraps up his business and makes a haphazard getaway. See, comedic gold. Nelson finally reaches a river to ditch the weapon, but it lands right on a police boat. See, talk about bad luck. The police check the surveillance, discovering the real killer is someone else entirely. Subtitles: The police are interrogating the security guard as part of their investigation, and surprisingly, Nelson still feels like he's the prime suspect. Spotting a patrol car, Nelson dives into a trash can like a cartoon character. He huddled up in the trash can all through the night, only daring to come out after he thought the police had left and the area was secure. He figures the police must be burned out, only to find they're singing their hearts out. For Nelson, tonight is destined to be a sleepless night, and this will remain the case until the agents receive an alarming report stating that there is a man covered entirely in blood. They think he can't be the killer because a killer wouldn't be that careless. Subtitles, but upon hearing it's a strip club, the atmosphere turns tense as the investigators decide to investigate right away. They have booked the 2 top-notch seats, getting ready for a thorough investigation. Meanwhile, the actual murderer has already fled to Mexico, and upon seeing Nelson on the bus, he panics and accelerates hastily. He's frantically looking for a place to ditch the ride, while Nelson is clueless to it all. Nelson just wants a quick nap, but the driver wakes him up. You've arrived. Turns out, he only bought a half-air and gets kicked to the curb, see literally. Ravenous, he finds some wild fruit by the roadside to stave off hunger. He lifts up mushrooms for a taste, but ends up hurling everything he ate the previous day. Back at the company, no one notices Nelson has been MIA for a week, so you talk about being under the radar. Nelson finds a car in the woods, then thinks, why not? Time to borrow this. Pulling into a motel to rest, his bizarre behavior raises the hotel clerk's suspicions. The clerk sees a stolen black Jeep news and paper and asks, is that your car? Nelson acts nonchalant, asserting that the car is really nice, but deep down inside, he's sweating buckets. After the clerk assigns his room, he quickly calls the police. Nelson finds the paper in the shower. Heartbroken, he's aghast at how fast the media works. See his stolen car made the news overnight. So furious that he keeps banging his head. He never imagines that the real killer is actually living in the next room. The killer sees his discarded car and is shocked, realizing he's been monitored all along. Nelson believes that the cops have come to arrest him, so he voluntarily offers to play the role of an upstanding citizen. While escaping, he accidentally points to the real killer, making for a comedy of blunders. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe for more hilarious tales and content.